Alright, so I got this terminal on. This is the main cable right here. It goes to the fuse panel, which goes straight to the battery. And now I gotta get the excite wire. Get an eyelet on that. Make sure it fits, which in this case it does, which is good. Alright, these are in place. I'll come back and clean up the wiring later. So this wiring harness is actually set up for a single wire alternator, but mine is a 2-wire. So what I did was I just jumped this wire straight to the positive post on the alternator, and then the second wire I spliced with this wire, and on the Jeep there is a pink and black wire, which is the generator indicator lamp. So I want all my indicator lights working because I'm weird like that. That's done for now. Next thing is getting this. I'm running the secondary fan. Since there used to be a mechanical fan here, I now have to run a wiring harness for this. Luckily for that one, I was able to use the factory harness. But yeah, so all I gotta do now is find a plug for this. I need the male end, which I should have some. And I already got my ground wire marked and my tan wire marked as well. I did run a relay for this. There was an empty spot on the fuse block that I'm going to splice it into. Here's the relay way over here. I'll show you guys that here in a minute. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this connector connected and then see if it works. Alright, get these rubber insulators on there. Alright, wires in place. And be sure the rubber insulator is on this second crimp right here. Go ahead and get your crimp pliers. They're specifically for this purpose. And just figure out which side is the correct one. Alright, that should work. Let's do the other one. Alright, so I'm using the wiring from my original fan as a reference. So apparently B terminal is ground and A terminal is power. And I have ground marked with my black tape. So we can go ahead and feed it. Let's see. B is... Okay, so this is B. Is that right? Should be labeled. Yep. Push it in until it clicks. Like that. And this other one. Push it in. Alright. Now I gotta drill a small hole right here so it stays, won't hit the hood. Just be sure you feel back here, make sure it won't interfere with the fan, which doesn't feel like it will. So I'm just gonna drill it right there. Should be a perfect spot for it. Beautiful. So it's working. Not hitting that hose either, which is good. All right, so the way I have it set up, this fan stays on all the time. So when I give it ignition power, it automatically comes on, it stays on. Whereas that one, it runs through the computer. So if the engine reaches operating temperature, that fan will come on momentarily. And I do have a fan override switch for this fan as well, to where it can stay on all the time. But this one completely bypasses all that stuff, so it's just constant power all the time. So cool. The relay is properly wired, so I can go ahead and get it installed, which I have a spot right here that will work perfectly. I gotta glue these terminals in to do that. So all right, I got the relay in place. This is my factory auxiliary fan, and there's an empty spot right next to it, so this is now fan 2 relay location. Got the terminals glued in. I decided to use this black adhesive sealant. This stuff works great. And here's the wiring diagram I went off of. So you got 12 volts, constant or switched, or ignition, I should say. But I decided to go with constant 12 volts because I already had a wire laying around. And then, so pin 87, I did constant 12 volts. 86, 12 volts ignition power or switch power. And then 85 is the fan power wire. 30 is cooling fan power wire, which in my case, this is tan wire right here, and this is ground. Pin 85 is fan wire, but since I'm not running to the computer, I just ran it straight to ground. Now I may run it to the computer eventually, but I'll just see how this performs first. But there is a dark blue wire on the wiring harness for this specific purpose. But I already have one fan hooked up to the computer. I like to have one of them running all the time, just in case. I don't want to have both fans ran off the computer. Reason being is because of reliability. Say the computer were to short out somehow, at least I have one fan for backup, and I have this one as an override. But I may eventually wire these both up to the computer, but in the meantime I'll sleep on it. But that's what I got going on for now. All right. So it does in fact work. Blows good too. All right, that's fixed. Okay, so I got the fuel pump issue figured out. So I had a constant 12 volt running to pin number 30, which is this one right here. But since I'm running a switch to ground setup, that was not needed. So I disconnected the constant 12 and I replaced it with a ground. So if you look under here, I have a little jumper wire going from pin 30 to 85. And 85 is constant ground. And over here, you have ignition power. And here you have the brown wire, which goes to the factory fuel pump relay ground. So when this relay activates, it connects pin 30 and 85, which are already connected to ground, to pin number 87. And it completes that circuit, which then activates my factory relay. So if we did everything right, the fuel pump should prime. So I'm gonna turn the key. You guys can go ahead and listen. Not sure if you heard that, but fuel pump is in fact priming. You can even hear the relay. When I turn the key. Turn this key on. That relay works. Check for fuel pressure. Yep, got fuel pressure. I would attempt to start this thing, but I'm not 100% ready yet. So I gotta get some more tranny fluid and get some shit put together. But I did make a bracket for this. I just gotta paint it and bolt it in. And then should be done. Relays are screwed in. Once this is screwed in, those will be done in place. I gotta find a spot for this guy. Not 100% sold on this air box. Not sure if I'm gonna use it. It takes up a lot of space. So this is the bracket that I made for the fuse block here. So it's gonna sit kind of like that. Notice I notched it out so it can dodge the wires. Won't rub up against anything. So this is kind of what we have to work with. Alright, it's got painted. The holes should line up. Gonna sit right about like that. Hopefully it won't hit the hood. It's a little high, a little higher than I'd like. Alright, so I moved the bracket down a little bit on this side so it's flush with this jam here. Hopefully it'll clear the hood, but unfortunately I can't test that theory yet. Let's get it lined up. All right, beautiful. Just give you guys a closer look. Looking good. I got the spacer for this. It's not my old Ace. Also got me some more transmission fluid. These 4 ladies take 12 quarts of this stuff, Dextron. I got 8 quarts in there already. I'm gonna put 4 more in, and then but once I do that, fuse box, it's ready to go. Yeah, we should be almost set here, but yeah, let's go ahead and get everything buttoned up and then try and start it. Sounds healthy. Gauges seem to work. Tack works, oil works, amp works, generator light works. Alternator is not spinning, so that's why it's on. I think temp gauge works. Transmission seems to be working. That's exciting. No leaks. That's a huge plus. All right. So far, so good. Well, that's about as far as I'm gonna get in this video. But I did okay. I don't see fuel or any fluid spewing everywhere, so that's a good sign. Next thing is get the ECU mounted in a permanent location. Get the intake duct ran, and get the power steering and alternator bracket and get the belt for that. Get the rest of the stuff plumbed up and figure out the neutral safety switch situation. So for those of you that have stuck with me for this long, appreciate it. If you like what you see so far, stay tuned. I'll see you in the next one.